Workout smashed, nothing better. Nothing better. Let me just get a little quiet bit here in the shade. Let me talk. I'm seeing lots of questions from members of the public saying, why are they attacking the police? Why are police stations being targeted? Just to give you a bit of a knowledge of why people are angry with the police, and to the men committing the violence, lads, those individual police officers who are coming out doing a difficult enough job have got families at home. They're ordinary people, okay? The people pulling their strings is who you need to be angry with. Why are people angry? I'll tell you why they're angry. Because Hamas were allowed to overtake London, overtake our capital city, every weekend, flying ISIS flags, Hamas flags, calling for jihad. The police did nothing. Nothing. Instead.
So this is what's triggering these people, because they're anti-Israel, and he's like, oh, these people are Hamas sympathizers. So because they're anti-Israel, they're basically pro-Hamas. So they're triggered by Tommy because he's saying
They arrested me. They banned me for 6 months. They infringed. They totally abused the law, and they lied in court, and they got found out. Yeah, people have now seen what the police are doing. Look at what happened in Manchester Airport. In Manchester Airport, 2 violent Muslims attacked officers attempting to do their job, armed response officers. They violently beat 3 of them to the floor.
See, like, this is what I like about Tommy. After all the mistreatment he has been getting, he's still pro-police. He's still pro-police.
Beat 3 of them to the floor, battering a police.
Like, the police trying to do their job. Like, a lot of people who are supporting Tommy, they're turning on the cops because how some of the cops treat Tommy. But after like, I've seen how sometimes the police, how they treat Tommy. After all of that, Tommy is still pro law and order. It's amazing. It's very impressive. Like, I don't know if I would be, like, I am right now pro law and order, but emotionally, logically, I see how that makes sense. Emotionally, I don't know if I would be strong enough to still be pro law and order if I was being mistreated that much. But Tommy is strong enough to still be pro law and order.
Police woman breaking her nose. Now, we all know, okay, then they were held in the police station, and they were released from the police station because thousands of Muslims come to the police station and they threatened riots across the country. So the police gave in again. Yeah, we all know if they weren't Muslim, they'd be in remand in prison right now. So until the police enforce the law equally across all communities, the resentment and anger is growing. People witness what happened in Harefields, riots, out on the street every night. Police weren't there on horses, they didn't have dogs, they weren't attacking people. Yeah? Everyone's seen it. We've seen the way you police us differently. People have seen the demonstrations differently. What you're trying to blame on the English Defence League, blame on us, is your fault. You've caused this resentment, treating communities totally differently, coming down on a ton of bricks on certain communities and allowing others to rape and pillage their way through this nation. We're at 40,000 terrorists on a watch list, jihadists, 40,000 of them. And you've arrested the organiser of a democratic protest in Middlesbrough. He's currently under terrorism legislation. You arrested me under terrorism legislation. To the people taking part in these demonstrations, we had 100,000 people on the streets of London in a peaceful resistance. That 100,000 will become 250,000. 250 will become 500,000. A peaceful revolution is brewing in Great Britain. A peaceful revolution.
He's so obsessed with just telling everybody that it's supposed to be peaceful. So how are you basically trying to get all the people who are committing the violence or property destruction or attacking the mosques, how are you trying to connect that to him? Like, how many times does he have to say that what he wants is a peaceful protest?
To the men in these towns and cities, and to the police.
Yeah, so somebody is saying Tommy is not supporting violence, but a huge number of Tommy's followers are in fact supporting those who are far-right violent mobs. Yes, this is the problem with every movement, okay? Like, guys, like, for even us, there are some people who support, like, I have a very small audience, but even I have supporters who are racist. You can, like, even, it doesn't matter how many times I say that, okay, that's bad, that's horrible, like, this is like, not, I don't support this, these are not my views. But again, as soon as you grow somewhat, you are going to attract horrible people from every side is going to have that. But if I want to see if I could hold you responsible, is to see if you are trying yourself to make sure you make those people understand that you do not agree with that. Have you denounced that enough? And he has. He always does that. No matter how much you try, at the end of the day, you are going to have certain group of people with really bad views or very bad methodology attracted to you. You are, and it's not that you shouldn't be doing anything about it. Yes, you should be denouncing it. You should be calling it out. You should be telling people and them that this is not the way, this is not what I agree with. But even if you do that, and you should be doing that, at the end of the day, there will always be some of them that will be around you because you're popular. Because it's popular. So how is he responsible for them? Again, those people are bad and they should be called out, and they are far right. But I don't understand how Tommy should be responsible for them if he's doing everything he can to basically disassociate himself from them.
Establishment. In 2009, when we took to the streets in Luton over the attack against our armed forces, when we attempted to have a peaceful demonstration, you kettled us, you attacked us, and you charged us on police forces. Did that work? No. Our 250 people turned to 1,000 with balaclavas on. Yeah? You created Tommy Robinson that day. And in your actions in the last 3 weeks, or not, since October 7th, you've created thousands of Tommy Robinsons. You won't crush people like this. Okay? People, and to the lads taken to the streets, in the towns and cities today, these young boys need leadership. Take their balaclavas off. Take their masks off. They're going to get years in prison. Okay? It's not helping the cause. Do you know what we need right now in Britain? What we're going to need, what your grandkids are going to look at what's happening now, and that you want to ask, was it a mob of coked up, drunk Englishmen? Or was it a resistance of dedicated, fit, healthy, ready British resistance? Because that's what's needed. Lads, you need to get in the gym. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching, but we need to be ready for what's coming, okay? Look, what we've witnessed since October 7th is like the trailer to a movie. The movie ain't even started yet. You see the rapes, you see all these migrant hotels, they're not slowing them down, they're speeding them up. They're flooding our country, yeah? We either win this battle, where we don't become minorities and don't see every town and city in this country taken over by hostile jihadists, rapists, criminals, yeah? That's one outcome, or we win. Through peaceful resistance, we cause a revolution in this country, and the public are ready for it. Everyone's ready.
The word peaceful he's repeating it so much. Like, I think the main word that he's using constantly is peaceful.
Ready for it, yeah? The time is now. The time, and lads, up and down the country.
And by the way, the people who are attacking the mosques, the people who are like harassing Muslims, they are the worst thing for this movement. Like, if they think they're being patriotic, you're destroying Tommy's movement. You're destroying the movement of these patriots who are trying to, because they're going to use that against them. So the worst thing, the worst thing you could do is to be violent or to go harass Muslims. I mean, it's wrong, not just because it's just wrong, it's morally wrong. It's obviously horrible to go destroy someone else's property or to harass an individual. That's obviously morally wrong, but it's also strategically wrong because it's just going to ruin. Look how they're using that against the movement.
In the towns and cities, these young boys are looking for leadership, okay? We had peaceful demonstrations in London because we had leadership. We had committed men, not just me, we had committed men across that movement willing to stop people who are stepping out of line. You need this in your towns and cities. Well, man, you need this now in your towns and cities. So family putting their hands up, going like that, everywhere I go, right? The public opinion's changed, lads. But please, man, there's young boys there. They're angry. I was angry. I said in 2009, we put balaclavas on. We knew nothing else. We were angry. We were forgotten. We were neglected. Our town was being taken over. Our daughters were being raped. People are feeling the same. But we're on the verge of something massive where we've won the hearts and minds of the public. Don't undo that, yeah? So, lads, in every city across this country, control your boys, man. Control them, direct them. A resistance is growing. But to the people asking,
so he's saying, I understand the anger, but control your boys. It needs to be peaceful. That's what he's saying. He says, I understand if you're angry, but control your boys.
Questions of why this is happening. Why this is happening is because of a two-tier policing system which has attacked English people and a government who has declared war on them, who has not sat there. You know, after every riot, George Floyd, a criminal, gets killed, and our leaders, the capital burns, cities burn, people are attacked. 30 deaths in America. All this happens. What do the leaders say of our political groups? They come out and say, we understand your anger. We understand it. Well, don't you fucking understand ours? Don't you understand when they're raping their way through our towns and cities? When our daughters in every town and city are being raped? Don't you understand why we're angry? You can't just call every mother and father far right or racist for wanting safety. What?
So this is what's happening. This is the problem. So the response to the other side is we understand your anger, and the response to the other side should also be that. Like, I completely get that. So there's three things that the government needs to do equally to all sides. It needs to look at why people are protesting and make them feel heard, and do the things that they require to feel like the government is responding to their issues, and also call out the violent side and crack down on it, and also tell that community that the violence from the other side would not be accepted. From all sides of the protest, the government should be doing this for all sides. But the government is doing some of this for one side and not the other side. So when it comes to the Muslims, right, if they're attacked, the government, if their mosques are attacked or individuals are attacked, the government goes and tells them, like, okay, this is not acceptable and we will stop this. And the government should do that. They should tell that community that they're going to do that. It's their responsibility to bring peace and security. But it doesn't do that to the other side. When these people, when patriots or people who are against mass migration or Islam, and when they are attacked, the government doesn't come like, oh yeah, no, patriots shouldn't be attacked like this, and don't worry, we will crack down on them and we're going to find them and we're going to stop. Like, it doesn't, the government doesn't come and step out and say, like, provide you that sense of security, right? And when the other side is angry and protesting, the government comes and tells them, like, we hear you, we will try to address it. What is your issue? You're worried that, I mean, migrants, both legal and illegal migrants, they should feel safe. Like, government is supposed to make people feel safe. And if Muslims or other migrants are feeling intimidated, or minorities are feeling intimidated, the government should come and tell them that, yes, we're here to protect you, okay? But why is it just one-sided? Why don't you tell this to the other side? So I agree that the government should come and make them feel safe. But it should be equal to all sides. For one side, you just call out their violence, you tell them, you label them all as far right, and you don't actually listen, you don't make them feel the part of it that is not violent. So you notice the violence, you don't notice the mass part of it that is not violence, that actually have legitimate grievances. You don't make them feel heard. And if you don't make them feel heard, you're just going to add to the violent part. You're actually making the violent part bigger by not making the non-violent part heard. You're calling out their violence, but you don't call the violence from the other side. You tell one side that you're hearing them and you understand them and you hear their concerns, but you don't tell this patriotic side, the side that is concerned about the mass migration. You tell them, okay, yes, the violent parts, we're going to crack down on that, but the rest of you who are peacefully protesting, we hear you, your concerns are legitimate, and we're going to do something about it. You don't have that message. It's not equal. I mean, put them side by side. This is why people think like you're being unfair to them.
They're asking you for safety. Save our kids is what they're shouting. Save our kids. They're our children. We need them protected. You're failing. People, you cannot rely on our government or police. They will stand by. Okay? We need to form a resistance. It needs to be.
I mean, when the other, even it's not even that actually. When the other side becomes violent, the main quote I hear is that riots are the, what is that Martin Luther King quote? Riots are the, hold on, what is that? Yeah, riots are the voice of the unheard. By the way, when Martin Luther King, when Dr. King said that, he wasn't endorsing it. Okay, he just said this is, a lot of people use that quote as if he was endorsing it. He wasn't endorsing it. He said it's something that happens. But he, in his rest of his quote and his rest of his speeches, you could see that he wasn't endorsing the actual riots, right? But when the other side does riots, you say like, oh, riots are just the voice of the unheard. But when the patriotic side or the anti-Islamist or anti-mass migration side, when they riot, shut it all down. All of it. All of them are far right. They're all responsible. Shut the whole thing down.
Organised, it needs to be disciplined. So please, I'm watching what's happening, and to the people who are saying I'm glorifying it, no, I'm not. Appeal for calm the whole way. We organise ourselves, yeah? I'm just keeping the public up to date, which is what the media won't do, with what's happening and why it's happening, okay? And where that anger's coming from, okay? Unless you give people some light at the end of the tunnel, resentment and anger, by you thinking you can hide these community problems, that's all it's going to breed. More resentment, more anger, more violence. Be safe.